Rebel Scum Con 2025.
I'm so sorry. You're going to have to redo that. I was making a stupid face.
I don't care. We're rolling. We're going.
I went like...
I'm not going to lie. This is the intro. This is staying.
Okay.
Of all of that, that's where we're keeping.
We're keeping this.
Sweet.
Rebel Scum Con 2025 was super fun, and we are here to finally talk about it, 2 months later, to share stories, experiences from year 1 and year 2, the pros of going, the cons of going, which there aren't many. But we have with us today a very special guest, very good friend of ours, member of the 501st, wonderful cosplayer, Riley. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's okay. We haven't had a guest in person in like a year, I think, and it was not video. So it's fun because lately all of them have all been virtual. Mm-hmm. So I'm super excited about that. So I guess jumping in, Rebel Scum Con. One thing, actually, what I want to start with was I think I took for granted year 1 the fact that, and year 2, because I just realized this like a month ago, the fact that this like Star Wars convention outside, like the only Star Wars convention really outside of Star Wars Celebration is like so close and in our city, you know? So it's just like, it's wild that you just can drive there. And then I think it was especially this year when I realized like people are traveling from like out of the country, out of state, and like spending this whole, like making this huge deal out of it. And I'm like, I just woke up and drove here.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
It's wild. So yeah, it's gotta be my favorite part about it. But anyway, I guess getting into it, just the stories, we could start this anywhere pretty much.
There's both years, this most recent year is definitely filled with a ton of stories.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And the addition of the after parties too that they did.
Man.
Yeah, the after parties were incredible. It was definitely some of my favorite moments.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to get into all of those. But I know most everybody knows by now Rebel Scum Con we volunteer for. We do not attend. Next year, we might do 50-50, but since we do the volunteering and stuff, the podcast like recap is a little different than I guess everyone else's usual, episodes. So we'll be sharing stories of behind the scenes with actors and different interactions and just I guess how the con is run. not in like not the bad parts because there's not really many, but sharing, just that aspect of it, which is super fun because everybody who runs the con, they're all super, super sweet people and very genuine, huge Star Wars fans. And it's just great getting to be, help them out wherever they can.
Yeah.
So anyway, did you have any?
No.
Okay. I want to ask first, what are y'all's, from year 2, what is one of y'all's like favorite memories? I know that's a hard question.
Yeah, that is tough.
Or not specific memory. Maybe like what's your favorite thing that Rebel Scum Con does versus other cons?
So one of my favorite things is that it is just Star Wars centered. Like, I mean, I'm a huge nerd. I get to play dress up and go to conventions on weekends. Yeah, that's duh. But I love a lot of my like nerdiness or fandom, if you will, stops at Star Wars. So getting to have all of the entire con focused on Star Wars is great. It feels like, okay, cool, I can recognize these people, or I can go from booth to booth and genuinely spend my time looking at what they're offering on the exhibit halls versus like I've been to San Diego Comic-Con twice now, and it takes you 2 days to walk past things you wouldn't even think about buying that aren't interested in to you or aren't your niche or whatever. So it's nice to have something that is just purely Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's incredible to me. All the guests there, the vendors, the panels, everything. It's the only convention that isn't Celebration that's purely Star Wars.
Yeah, which is interesting too. I've never been to Celebration. You haven't?
I haven't either.
Okay. So that's the thing is I don't even have that comparison. So I'm excited, like 27. We're planning on going. I'm sure you are.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see the difference of like how Star Wars running their official event versus like Rebel Scum Con is, because I feel like there's just so much like heart behind Rebel Scum Con and what they're doing. Like they are all fans who wanted to make this Star Wars themed event in Texas and try to grow the community here. So I'm really curious about that and how it's going to go, and also having it yearly, instead of like every other year in some other country, So I'm excited about that, and just the growth from year 1 to year 2 was drastic.
It was incredible.
It was so cool to see, because year 1 was I remember them talking, because I forgot which of the guys it was, but they walked up and they're like, we sold however many tickets and we're expecting however many people, and it was like a fraction of who actually showed up, and they were like, oh, I want to, hope the hall gets full, and like they're just waiting and hoping people come. But this year, like, there were so many people. The line out the door was so, it was really cool to see, and I was like, wow, like just how they promoted year 1 so well, like via social media, which props to Dante. He's their manager. He does a great job, and he's very helpful actually with the podcast as well. But just how many people heard about it. I did not realize the turnout was going to be that big for year 2.
Oh, I didn't either. I was super excited for year 2, but I mean, year 1 was small just because it's first time convention starting out. I had a great time the first year.
Yeah.
It was a smaller con, but I loved it for the same reasons I loved this year's, with, it's another convention that is purely Star Wars focused.
Which we should also say how we met you, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because we officially met you this year. But I think you met Sierra last year.
We didn't, we might have briefly met. I know you were with Kendall and Kyle.
Yep.
And you were just there. And then I knew that you were the Mando that was there too. And I remember seeing you with Brendan and Latif and Barry when you were taking the picture with them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's that dude. But I don't know if we ever actually like officially were introduced.
I don't think so. Kendall might have
definitely
like
wasn't.
told me y'all's names at some point, but it was like pointing across a room. It was like, oh, that's so
Over
and
there
so,
walking
and then
by.
that's, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because she didn't, because, okay, here's the thing with Kendall, though, is it's normal for someone to be with her, walking around the con. But you were with her quite a bit, so it's funny to me that we never, like, met.
Yeah.
I feel like, because I would walk up to Kendall and I'd just be like, hey, moving on. Plus, I mean, it was busy. But then this year, meeting you it was the after party.
Yeah,
right?
the Friday night after party was where we actually got to, like...
Which, obviously, we all became really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got to learn y'all's names and put faces to those names. And that party was fun.
It was actually funny, though, earlier that day, because I was looking for Kendall and Kyle, and out of all people, I happened to walk up to you. And I remembered you, and I was just like, I think this is the Mando from last year. But I didn't acknowledge it.
Was he in costume?
No.
Oh.
No, he was just at the 501st table.
Oh.
But I was just like, do you know where... I either said Kyle or Little Rex, but the whole 501st knows either.
Yeah.
And then... So, yeah, that was it. So, just out of all the people, the fact that I went up to you...
That's funny.
That actually... Okay, this is such a bizarre story. This has to do with Fan Expo Dallas, but I just thought of it. It's kind of funny. And I don't think we shared it in the recap we did last year. But last year, for Fan Expo Dallas, we gave Kyle, like, this gift basket. And it had, like, a little Lego set, little stuffy, a couple other random things. And Kendall was like, I don't want to hold it all day. She's like, I might go put it in the hotel or something. And we were like, oh, no, like, we can hang on to it for you. She's like, better yet, if you go to the 501st table and be like, hey, this is for Kyle, like, can you guys hold it? She's like, they definitely will. They'll let you have it. And so then we walk over. I forgot. I think it was Haley was the one who walked up, and she was like, "Do you know Kyle?" And the girl who was sitting there was like, "Kyle," like, because she didn't know who we were, so she, thinks this grown man named Kyle.
Yeah.
And she's like, "We have something for him. Do you think you can hold it?" And I was sitting there like, that was not a really good way to explain that. And I think you were like the little cosplayer, and because, she asked, "Can you hold this?" And the girl was like, "No." And then we were like, the little one, she's like, "Oh, Kyle, yeah, totally." And then this other guy, he was also there, he says it, and he's like, I thought you were trying to, like, pass drugs or something.
That's wild.
So anyway, that's my...
Because I had actually said, like, oh, we have a gift for him. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, no.
And then he was like, "Oh, like, I get it
creepy
now."
con stalkers.
Exactly.
Like,
he's like, "I don't want to get involved with this."
He was just like, anytime anyone has a gift, it's usually drugs.
Uh-huh. So anyway, I don't know why that popped in my brain right now when you said 501st table. Anyway. So then, yeah, it was, you said you saw him at the...
Yeah. So, again, I saw you, and I knew who you were-ish. Yeah. And then we officially met that night at Bunta.
Yeah, that was such a fun after party. I had a blast. It was a really cool environment.
We're all like yelling at each other.
We could hear each other.
Yeah, we were literally sitting this close right now, and we were screaming at each other to try to hear.
And still could not hear.
Because I was recording different, clips from that, so watching them back cracks me up because the mic works so well. And if you're just talking normal, it can hear you. But then some people get handed the mic and they're like, "We're here at Bunta Eve 2025!" And I'm just like yelling. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's so funny. I love it. But yeah.
It was a really cool environment and atmosphere. I mean, it was karaoke with a live band, and then there were guest stars that were originally exclusive for that after party.
Yeah.
And then they kind of changed their mind and decided to go to the con the next day. But it was still really cool.
It was fun.
Good food, good atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what
entertainment.
Oh my gosh. And Rory.
I was going to mention Rory
doing karaoke. And then also, what's his name? The kid? The Massive Skywalker kid.
Oh.
What's his name? Ross? Mm-hmm. Ross. Him doing karaoke with the other...
Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden. So funny. But, okay, that's what I liked about the after parties is they really set up the cons to be that much more fun. Because then the next morning, everyone shows up at the con and we're like, "Oh my gosh, that was so fun last night." And just, like, hanging out. And I feel like it was Dave and Buster's, though, that really, like...
Yeah, the Dave and Buster's after party was my probably highlight of that whole weekend.
I agree.
Oh yeah, like that was fun. Which I guess we can start up just talking about the after parties and then get into the. But
the after parties stole the show, man.
Literally, and I hope, I don't know what their plan is for the after parties yet, but I've heard talks about certain things which I'm not allowed to say. Of like what they are, I can tell you later. But
plug your ears.
No, I'm kidding. But if they get it to work out and fall in place, they will be really fun. So I'm holding out hope for it.
I mean, I already know I'm going to be at Rebel Scum Con next year.
Oh yeah,
I wouldn't miss it.
It's a given now. Like, why miss it? Pretty much.
Absolutely.
And I do want to say, if you are thinking on the fence, like Rebel Scum Con, should I go? It is worth it, 100%. And it's literally so fun. It's my favorite con every year.
As Aria would put it, it's a spiritual,
journey. Oh my gosh, you need to listen to that episode of that. Oh my gosh, Aria was cracking me up with. Like, the way she would say things like that. She's describing a con, and she's like, it's a spiritual experience. We're like, oh, what does that even mean? She's like, you just have to go. But anyway, yeah, it was fun. And that's another thing, is, like, meeting people, just all the Star Wars fans, because everyone's there for Star Wars. So you could strike up a conversation with literally anybody there and have, like, the best time.
Oh, yeah.
That kept happening, like, left and right. Which also, that's a part of, like, being a volunteer as well, Which one of the things I really like about it is people will just walk up to you with a question about where's the ticket booth or something. But then you end up, because they'll usually ask, oh, how's the con? How's it going? Are you busy? And I'm like, mid-lunch rush, like, yeah, I am. What's up?
Not even enough time to answer the question.
Literally.
Like, yeah.
Like, that actually happened. There's this lady, which I will share this because it was funny. But it was one of those classic, like, Karens, pretty much. It's mid-lunch. Sierra is out doing rounds. I was the only one. I'm losing my voice. Hang on. Take a moment. Anyway, I was the only one working hospitality who was actually there. So I was helping however many guests were there, running around like crazy. I have this armful of like water bottles, and this lady walks up to me. She's like, "Excuse me, I can't find where to get the tickets." Because how Rebel Scum Con does it, you don't pay at the guest tables. What you do is you go to their ticket booth. You buy, I want an autograph of Simon Cassinides or something, or photo, selfie, and you'll buy it there. You take the ticket that is like a collector's card, and you take it to the table, and then you get your thing, and then you get to keep the card. She couldn't find the ticket booth, which, I mean, it's right when you're there in the door. Like, it's like middle, right there. So she's like in the back corner of the vendor hall. Like, why? Like, she went the complete wrong way. And I was like, I'm sitting there like, I'm just going to give her verbal directions on how to get there because I'm busy. I need to go this way. And she wasn't having it. She was like, I have no idea where it is. I'm like, well, if you go out straight here, like follow this down, make a right, it'll be right there. It's huge. You cannot miss it. She was like, I have been walking around here for however 15 minutes and I cannot find it. And I was like, okay, how about I show you where it is? She's like, please do. And I was like, okay. So the whole way she's there with, I don't know if it was her daughter or what, but she's like, oh man, they say it's clearly marked and you can't find it anywhere. She's like, this is absolutely terrible and blah, blah, blah. They need to get it together. And I'm just like, I'm not saying anything. I'm like, just follow me. So we finally get to the front doors and I point. I'm like, right there. You see it? She's like, oh, that is clearly marked. That's what she said. And she was like, thank you so much. And she walks away and I was like,
wait, did she not even like go up to the ticket booth, or did
she did?
Just see? Oh, okay.
She did. She was just.
Like,
I just wanted to admire
away.
it.
She was like,
no,
"Oh, cool,
she walked
neat.
towards
Bye."
it.
That's why I bought a ticket
Leaves
to get
the
in.
con. I'm satisfied. No, oh my gosh! And I was just like, that was like mid-Saturday too, so we were already up late from the after party. I was tired. Second wildest day. Yeah. Sunday was the wildest day. Behind the scenes wise.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, anyway, that was one of the guests that was like, like, what can you do?
I mean, props to y'all for volunteering. I can tell you right now, I do not have the patience for that.
Yeah, it can be hard.
I get to wear a helmet
when stories like that happen. You put your helmet on and just walk away.
Yeah.
Like, no. But that's another thing I would use too, is because most of the time if people came up to me with a question, that's not my job. It wasn't my assignment. And so they'd say like, hey, are you one of the volunteers? I'm like, yes, I'm a guest volunteer though. Like, I work with celebrities. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'd use that as my I don't know anything card. Yeah, I don't know how to help you. I probably did. But it was just like, I don't have time to help kind of a thing. Yeah, but it was the nicest way I could say no. Oh, yeah. You know?
Every time I saw any of y'all were running around constantly. Yeah. Stuff either going from A to B. It wasn't even like a chat. I don't think we caught up like while y'all were volunteering until teardown on Sunday.
Pretty much. That
like,
was
I saw y'all and waved
lovely.
And said like hi. Mm-hmm. But we didn't like talk while y'all were volunteering because you were so busy.
Yeah, it seriously was. And there were people there that I knew. And like Ashley was there. And I remember at one point I had like four coffee orders. And I just had them all in a stack, filled to the brim, hot black coffee. And I'm walking down through the crowd of people in the vendor hall, and at some point Ashley saw me. She's like, "Do you want help?" And I was like, "Yes, I do," because I had to get through. Sam Witwer's line was long, very long, but in order to get to the other guests, you had to just part the crowd and try to get through. I was like, I'm gonna spill coffee on a child or something if I was like, this. I was regretting it.
Multi-million-dollar cosplay.
Yeah, or like some like, oh, I just need Sam Witwer and this whole page of autographs is complete. Like, it was gonna get ruined. And so Ashley like saved my life because I was really nervous about that. So that was fun. It's like, in order to hang out with your friends during the con, they had to also help you volunteer.
Yeah.
But it was so fun.
There was one guest, he was just like, I'm bored. Can you like hang out? And I'm like, dude, I got stuff to do. Mm-hmm. It was really funny though. He's like, I just have nothing to do.
Yeah, which is so sad. That's why if there is any amount of downtime, I will try to go table to table and just talk to the guests. How's your weekend? Are you having a good time? Do you want anything? That was okay. On Friday, that's something we did was because we didn't have a lot of snacks. So I would just go table to table and I'd be like, what do you want? I'm going to the store tonight. Like, I'll pick you up whatever you want, kind of a thing. And I really enjoyed that because they would be like, can you give me something with like almonds in it or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, I got you,
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite memories is just getting to like hang out and talk to the guests in that way of like just super simple. Like they just want trail mix, but like those are the best memories. And so then like when I see someone from year one, like Tate Fletcher and like things like that, you just have like memories like that, like, oh, I remember you got me, whatever. With Rory, it was fruit snacks.
The fruit snacks that he tried to swing out of the air. That's a later
we
story.
have to talk about that.
Yeah,
we will talk about that when we get to Sunday. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, even like as a non-volunteer, I loved interacting with the guests both years because like last year it was smaller because again it was a first-time con. But sometimes I'd go up to a guest and I'd have an autograph or a photo or whatever. And I'd sit and talk to him for 15, 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't, it's like, oh, we can have a conversation until either someone else comes in line to where I'm not, like, holding up the line or anything, but I get to actually meet them as opposed to a 30-second interaction where it's cool, what's your name on a sticky note, sign the print, and done.
Exactly.
It was a lot more personable. I actually got to meet these people. And it was incredible. I don't know if all of them remember me, but it's like some of these experiences are extremely memorable for me. It's like getting to the first year with the Mando cast with Barry, Lateef, and Brennan, getting to sit there and ask them questions about how much they can or can't say about the costume. It's like trying to figure out things for my own Mando costume.
Yeah.
Or just talking about their experiences or life. Or things like that. That is one of my favorite things. Treating them like people, as opposed to a celebrity that we get to see on the big screen, or even on our TVs or whatever.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Exactly, and finding out like it's just making them more real too. Like wow, like they're genuinely very friendly, or like just those really personal memories to have is so cool. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Because that's what it was like the most this year with Simon. Which is why he ended up coming on the podcast too. Is just because there actually was like a moment where we finally had 30 minutes of downtime. I think it was Sunday after the rush. And we were just hanging out with him. No, Saturday. We were in the green room. We had nothing to do. Everyone was taken care of. Simon was in the green room. So we all just sat down and were just having this conversation. And he was asking like, oh, so tell me about your family. Tell me about where you guys are from, stories, growing up, siblings, and he was sharing like all the, his family and, about his daughter and all this stuff. It was just like so real and genuine, and it was just wonderful. So like great memories like that. And I love hearing too, like a lot of friends that I have who also go to the cons, they all have stories like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, I talked, and it's always one like specific guest too, or a specific like group of guests that they just have like, oh, we were talking with them and they said blah blah blah, they gave me blah blah, you know, just like super cool stories like that. And I love walking around too and seeing like guests talking one-on-one with like the same person for like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
You know, or like the guests are just hanging out with each other, like standing in a circle, you know, like because their lines aren't very long. So just things like that. It's just so much more personal at that con.
That
and,
is
like,
has
hanging
to be
out.
one of my favorite things about Rebel Scum Con is the ability to interact with these guests on a personal level, or about as close as you possibly can get with them. You get to have those half-hour conversations. You get to see people you may never genuinely see again, or until the next con or whatever.
Yeah.
But I also liked it from last year to this year. It was a nearly completely different guest list.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the exact number, but the guest list for last year was fairly good for a first time con. But like this year I looked at the guest list and I just felt like I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I was like, there's so many names. Not scrolling like because it's a bad thing, but it was like, there's just so many names. There's original trilogy, there's prequels, there's sequel, there's the shows, there's everything.
Video games.
Yeah.
They had it all.
They had a nice diverse cast of guests that like I hadn't ever seen at cons before. Either they hadn't gone to cons or were nothing anywhere near our area. It was just it was cool to see them. It was nice, and I hope they keep that up with next year of
exactly
kind of staying on top. Like they had a few cast members from Skeleton Crew there. So it was cool to see them and talk with them.
It was. Yeah, or I like the ones too, because, you know, not everyone is like this open, like, hey, nice to meet you, how's it going? They're like quiet. Very nice, but very quiet. So it's fun over the weekend. Being such a small con, you can see them multiple times, and then they start to open up to you, and then all of a sudden they're just like telling you a story about something. You're like, oh my gosh, like you talk, you know? It's just, that's what I loved. It's cool, and it's like you're just making those connections that way. But yeah, the lineup was really cool. And they actually originally they were not going to have that many. I think after last year, what they had said was they were going to dial it back, like 10 guests less than what they had. But then as, you know, the year went on and they were just, I think they were getting excited, like we can actually get this person that, you know, they're interested, we're going to get them. It just grew and then was more guests than what they had.
It was a ton of guests this year, and I mean, even over the course of the whole weekend, I got to meet everyone that I wanted to. So I mean, I had a fantastic time from I guess the consumer end, if you will.
Yeah, the customer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I like too is not all the guests that every con gets, you know, because everyone gets like. John Boyega is one I'm thinking of. I'm trying to think of the Star Wars ones. But, you know, they'll make a deal with Fan Expo Dallas, and then they'll go to all their cons, and then, you know, GalaxyCon, they get their own set of guests and stuff like that. So it wasn't all the ones that you always see at every con. It's like, I've never met this person before. Yeah. And they'd probably only ever come to Rebel Scum Con because none of the other companies necessarily reach out to them, you know, for things like that.
Have a contract for their appearance, or
which makes sense because cons like that cater to every fandom. So they want to get like the big names like Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, and you know all of those people who they know will, you know, draw in a big crowd. But with Rebel Scum, you can get like Roger Christian and like people like that. Ross Beedman, I think is his last name. And it's just, that's one thing I really love about it. Or like, oh, the guy who played Eve Koth or something, like he was really nice. And it's like, I would have never met him otherwise, you know? And then last year, like this guy who played a Weequay pirate in Return of the Jedi, his name was it Julian?
Julius.
Or Julius.
I'm losing my voice too.
She's getting all choked up about it. Julius. That's one person I wish. I don't think I'll ever see him again in my life, But because the only way would be if Rebel Scum Con
Yeah.
got him or broke into his house or something.
I don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not planning
Well,
on
we
it.
could.
I'm not here to recommend legal advice, but
Yeah, no. So the only way would be like at a Rebel Scum Con or something. But he was so nice. He was very like, he had a tough shell. But after he got talking, like we found out he grew up and lived where we, like really close to where we grew up. And so we were talking about like, oh, do you remember going to this place as a kid and they had the arcade and this and that? And he's like, yes, like, you know what I'm talking about. So it's just like having that mutual connection of things. And like, he's asking what high school did your dad go to? And we're like, oh, he went here. And he's like, oh, I went here, you know?
Yeah.
Like we were rival high schools and just things like that. So it's just like, I love that normally, like, I wouldn't care to meet some random side character in Star Wars, but then after meeting them and seeing how genuinely nice they are, and him talking about, like, Star Wars, he's like, we all thought it was a joke.
yeah.
He's like, this movie is, like, terrible. Like, we're all in these costumes in the middle of a desert. Like, we're just getting paid to be here kind of a thing, but we don't care. And then, you know, realizing it, like, took off as huge as it was. And so just hearing their stories is just so cool. Makes you love Star Wars more, too. Just seeing the people who were there when it was first being made.
Oh, absolutely. Even talking to some of the other guests that are, I guess, on the newer end of Star Wars, like Disney era, it's hearing their experience with Star Wars or how they got the role, if you will, or some of their favorite memories on set. That's one of my favorite questions to ask the guests is what's your favorite memory from XYZ show or whatever season or movie you were in.
Yeah.
And it's always different from person to person.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll launch into a story or two and it's back to the genuine relationships or even just like conversations you get to have as a result. And that is why I will be back at Rebel Scum Con next year.
Exactly. And beyond the guests, too, just the friends you make. Like, this, for instance, like, you're here recording. It's just, like, you become so close with people in, like, such a short amount of time just because of, like, Star Wars, which is still, like, it's wild to me. Because at the other cons, we become really close with people, like Kendall and Kyle, and then most everybody knows Kara. Like, we're very close, but then in Star Wars, in, like, one weekend, we just become besties with, like, you and Rory and, like, people like it's so fast. It's just really cool. And, like, getting to keep up with people like Rory, for instance. Like, I was just talking to him yesterday, so it's really cool that, you know, just so many memories. It's wild.
It's
I'm keeping in every time you clear your throat, too.
sweet. I'll do it right into the microphone. It's such a unique con in that, and even Liliana, Positive Padawan, because I would see her and I'd pass her in the hall every once in a while, and I remember her and her sister and her dad were telling me, like, this con is insane. So, like, seeing them come in, they weren't there for year one, and they were there at Fan Expo, so just, like, such a drastic difference from other cons. It's like, you can just tell immediately just the warmth and just the genuineness, like we were talking about, of all the guests there, and just the connections, and just, you can just feel it, and it's so cool.
Mm-hmm. And that the people who, like, started the con and run it are there on the show floor. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, there's Josh, there's Vinny, and Kentucky running around managing everything. That's it's a huge joke with us, is because Kentucky is the one who is the head and in charge of, like, everything. If you have a serious, like, if anyone can answer a question, like, he's the top. He's the top person you go to. But you can never find him anywhere because he's doing everything.
Oh, I believe it.
Or he's in his office or something. And so it's like, oh, like, this is like, what are we going to do? And then it's like, you gotta go talk to Kentucky or something, like, bring it to Kentucky.
And it's
go
on a search.
It's so funny because I literally only saw him, like, twice that whole weekend because he was just so wildly busy. And I try to go to because I'm like, I don't want to talk to Kentucky. Like, I don't want to put another thing on his plate. So I'm like, I'm not going to tell Kentucky. Like, I'm going to go to so-and-so. And they'd be like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to talk to Kentucky. And I'm like, oh, well, there you go.
It's
But
so
it's
funny.
so funny.
Because you have your questions, then you have your Kentucky questions.
Yeah. And that was the thing, is that's a Kentucky question.
The dread that just
Literally.
like,
Knock on his office door. Sir, I have a question. But yeah, no, it's just funny. It's a joke now. During the weekend, highly stressful. After the fact, it's really funny when you're like, that's a Kentucky question. Oh man. But yeah, I think too, like, just again, being surrounded by complete Star Wars fans, and that's what everybody's there for. That's what I love. Because
you can talk to anyone there about anything.
literally, and people would like just walk up and start talking, and I'm like, okay, like let's go. I love talking to people, and so I'm like, this, it's such a fun weekend, and I really enjoy it.
I agree. I like too what you were saying about the diversity of everyone there. Just from like Ahsoka, the show, to like Bad Batch, to the originals and everything. I loved seeing them interact together. Because it's like, oh, Omega from the Bad Batch is talking to this OG character. And it was just really, really cool to see that. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I'm excited, like, already for next year, just to see kind of who they bring in, or how it differs, or even some familiar faces that return, honestly.
Yeah, because there already are a few who are like, I want to come every year. Where I'm like,
I can think of one for sure.
Yeah,
that
I can
has
think
said-
of two. But yeah, and then everyone there also, even like halfway through the weekend, every guest I talk to, I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything? They're all like, I want to come back next year so bad. Like, this is so fun and I'm having a great time. And I'm like, wow, like, it's just immediately for the guests themselves to be like telling you this, you're like, they're having a great time too.
Oh, yeah.
So that is really cool.
I mean, even at the Boonta Eve after party, we saw them on a lot of the guests in their own little like
The cool people VIP
the VIP
corner.
area. There was a little raised up.
Looking over the governors on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no,
autograph.
They looked like they were having a fantastic time, and even the guests got involved in the karaoke.
Yeah.
Like, I know we mentioned a few, but there were, I'd say probably a third of the people that went up for karaoke were guests.
Which is what I
It was
love.
hilarious
It's because you
interacting.
never see them in that element
no.
otherwise. Like when Matthew Wood and the other guy got up and were doing their song, like, when else is this ever going to happen in your life that you're like watching this happen? And it's just like, it's so fun.
It was crazy to me because I'm like, this is something where I would be like scrolling YouTube and I just find this random video of Matthew Wood singing this song. But I'm like, but I'm here and I'm watching it. It's so
it.
crazy.
Yeah. Dave and Buster's too. Like when you're like playing arcade games and then like this actor walks up or whatever, but then you're so used to them at that point, you're just like hanging out, having a great time, and don't realize till later, like, wait, this is actually like really cool.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that night was the night that we all got really close to Rory.
Oh yeah.
Because before then, we would like, we got along great year one because he was one of the recurring guests. Actually, he wasn't even with Rebel Scum. He was with, I forgot what company brought him in. Kind of like how Nia's going to have Nick Gillard with him next year. Kind of like that situation. Because earlier that day was when we were kind of like, oh, hey, we remember you from last year, and like, just hanging out. But then that night, I don't know how we ended up hanging out with him.
Know.
He was just
We
kind of
just saw
there,
him.
and then he just kind of like started following us around, and then we started following him around, and we were just like, then we're all just hanging out.
He had said he wanted to play Mario Kart. And so we started hunting for Mario Kart.
Yep.
That was so fun.
The Princess Peach.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Roy, Lena.
Yep.
Really, that's how it started, and it's one of those like you had to be there kind of stories. But yeah, so we're all like walking around. It's us. We're with Kendall and Kyle, and then Rory, Riley, of course, And then we're looking for Mario Kart. We couldn't find it at first. And so we were like, let's just do this other racing game. And so we're doing that for a while. And then who walked up? Was it Vinny?
I think so.
Vinny is Kentucky's little brother. He walks up and he's like, I found Mario Kart. It's over there. And so we're all like, oh my gosh, let's go. We're all like totally like delirious too. Like just tired. Everything's, you know, we were all tired. So everything's funny. Everything is just like 100 times better than it normally would be if you were not sleep deprived.
Just finished eating for the first time that day.
Oh, yes.
Practically.
That's another thing is, kids, when you're volunteering or when you're at a con in general, like, you just don't eat as much.
Even in costume, it's like, I'm lucky to get one good meal a day.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so we're all dehydrated and hungry. And so then Rory is literally, if you've met Rory, you know he's got a very bubbly personality. And if you haven't, he's got a very bubbly personality. But he has no social anxiety whatsoever.
And
is like, he's just genuinely one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. And just makes everything better, pretty much. Yeah. He's just one of those people where you could be doing the most boring thing and he would make it like the most fun thing. Mm-hmm. And so being with him at an arcade at like 11 o'clock at night.
We literally closed it down. They turned on all the lights, turned off all the machines, and we're like, y'all gotta go home.
That's what I love.
Working.
Yep. I remember trying to squeeze in like one more game, and I was like, dang it.
It was me and you just watching as they were throwing their basketballs.
Yeah.
We were like, we're too slow.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
It's so depressing.
Because that was another thing. Okay, so at the after party, everybody got a free game card. So it was just unlimited play. So we're just like swiping and playing and having the best time. But yeah, it was the Mario Kart tournament. That was really... Oh, no, wait. It was him doing the dance.
It was Dance Dance Revolution.
Dance.
I still have those videos that just
I can mentally see it.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
It was incredible. I remember that. I vividly remember pulling out my phone. I was like, I have to record this. Nobody will believe me.
Exactly. It's just so... That's my favorite video is the one... Okay, I'm recording him. He's dancing. And then I pan over to you and Sierra, and you're both just, like, doing your little dance. It was so I
don't know what we were doing. But
I don't either, but that's a perfect vibe for that whole night.
It was.
Literally.
It's just everybody was there having a great time at all times.
And nobody, like, everyone was just being themselves, and, like, we're just here to have fun and have a great time and hang out, and it was just so fun. And then, you know, it's, like, super late. We're all tired, and we're like, see you tomorrow, you know?
See you tomorrow in, like, 7 hours.
Yeah. Literally. And then, that was fun. So then waking up the next day, going to the con, you know, we're all like, last night, like, you know, what are we doing? Because they didn't have any Sunday after parties because it was, you know, last day. Everyone
most people go to work
home
on Monday morning.
Exactly. So everyone's, like, leaving early anyway.
Well, we did too, but, you know.
But I feel like it was so early in the day. Like, because that was another thing is since we're running around, Roy's at his booth, you're walking around, you know, it's like, we'd mentioned, like, we should do that again tonight. Like,
I forget who came up to me first with the idea of, like, hey, y'all want to go to Dave & Buster's again tonight? And I was like, well, we got to get the others on board then.
Literally. I can't even remember how it started.
I feel like it was Rory.
I think it might have been. I know he asked me at one point. But I don't know if it was who asked first, but...
It was probably Rory.
I remember.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The rumor was circulating around our group for a bit.
That's what I loved. Is it was like a game of telephone.
It was
like,
gosh.
I talked to Rory, who talked to Riley, who talked to Haley, who said, we should go to Dave & Buster's. And then, let me go talk to Sierra and Rory. And then Rory's like, I talked to Sierra, who just said she's good with it. And just like this whole, like... all around. It was so funny.
In all honesty, would any of us on any world ever have been opposed?
Oh, no.
No. But I think it was...
That Sunday after the con was done was the best.
Literally. And that was another thing is after... Okay, so Friday night was when we saw Rory for the first time. And we're like, you know, hey, how's it going? You know, it's been a year since we've seen him. And I'd asked him, do you want any specific snacks for the next day because he didn't come with the con, so I couldn't like give him their snacks. So I was like, I'll just buy you something, you know? So like, what do you want? He's like, usually like fruit snacks is what I like, you know, at cons or whatever. I was like, I got you. So I go out and buy like a 40 pack of the little fruit snacks. And so all day Saturday, anytime I'd walk by, I would just throw a pack of fruit snacks on his table. And then the girls would do it too. Like anytime, I just kept them in my pocket. So if I happened to walk by, I'd just check it. Even if he was like talking to someone, I would walk by and just throw it on the table, and he'd just be like, "Hey, thanks," you know. And the person's like, "What the heck?" He's like, "No, it's fine."
I remember walking by and seeing his pile of fruit snacks. It was
Just
so funny.
growing. But then there was one point where I was like, I so badly just want to like chuck it right at him. But I'm like, I don't know him like that. And I'm like, I don't know how he'd take it. But then after Saturday hanging out, like the first thing I did on Sunday was grab fruit snacks. I went from behind and just chucked it at him. I think he was talking to someone too. And he just turns around and is like, he didn't even look at the fruit snack. He already knew what it was. It was just so funny how in that one night, all of a sudden we were all just like total buddies.
Oh, yeah.
So that was fun.
It was incredible. Definitely a lot of memories made in that short few hours. Like, it felt like it was a whole day.
Literally. And that's what's wild. It was like, what, 3 hours maybe, if even?
I don't know, because
I don't know.
it was more than 3 hours because it
I guess we
closed
ate,
at like
too.
1 a.m.
I don't think it was 1.
I think
oh,
we
wait.
got there around 9.
Maybe it was 1. I know we were late because
Yeah, I think it was supposed to start
we
at
were
8.
still finishing up
but-
things. Yeah, I don't even remember. It doesn't.
Doesn't
It
matter.
was just a few hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. That was really fun.
And then that led to Sunday. Like,
Yeah. Okay. We need to talk about Sunday.
oh my
So
God,
okay,
my
wait.
gosh.
What order should we go in? Should we just talk about the lightsaber story or the autograph shirt story?
It has to be a chronological order because everything just builds.
It does.
Like Sunday just kept getting sillier and sillier
did.
every single time.
Yeah, Rory has got to be my favorite memory from the con, but my second favorite was the autograph shirt and how I thought I lost it after I already had Kyle sign it.
I thought
so
I lost it for you.
lost it on my behalf. I don't even know what time. So every volunteer gets to get their shirt signed at the end of the con by all of the guests. And so about like 2 hours before it closes is when it's kind of like, okay, like things are settling down. There's not much to do. You just go table to table and get it signed. And so I had grabbed an extra shirt to get signed that I had one of the guys who helps with the con. His name is George. He got Kyle to sign it because there was no, like, it was so busy at the time. He was going to leave the con early, so he got it. So I was like, let me just get everyone else's signatures on, this shirt as well. And I was so happy that I got Kyle on there because I was like, oh, I thought he was going to leave. And I didn't get to meet him or talk to him at all that weekend just because it was so busy. And so, like, I was very, protective of that shirt. But then at some point, you had walked up. It was, like, it was super chill. We were just in the autograph area. I forgot how you even... You ended up with holding my shirt. The autograph
I think you had to
one.
go do something. Because after
Maybe.
a bit, we were getting, Simon signed it, and now, like, Omega signed it. Michelle.
Yeah.
Her Omega and Michelle are just interchangeable in my mind. Because
the
they're like the
difference?
same person. But, yeah, so you had already had a good amount of autographs on it.
Yeah, I would say it was about half full of all the autographs they wanted. And at some point, you just ended up holding it. I thought you knew it was my signed shirt.
I had no idea because it was like folded over
Yeah.
to where you saw the front of it only. All the signatures were kind of sandwiched in on themselves, so I just threw it
It was
over
one
my
of those
shoulder.
things, I thought it was...
You were asked to go do something, so you're like, I'll hold this. And he was like, cool.
And I literally just threw it over my shoulder and had it
I
just
I
on
thought
my
it was
shoulder.
obvious. But I understand now, like,
Not
just
to
walking
me.
around with a shirt. But, because I think I told you, like, oh, I'm getting my shirt signed or whatever. Or, like, I got it signed by whatever. But I guess didn't click. It was like,
I didn't see any signatures when I
yeah,
looked
I
at
get
the
it.
shirt.
It was, I do fold it up too though, because walking around just with the signed shirt or whatever. Anyway, I ended up doing something at some point, and then it was, you were holding it a good like 15 minutes where I completely forgot that I had given it to you. And then Sierra walks up to me and she's like, hey, so-and-so's about to leave. We need to get, signed by this, I forgot who it was. But we need to get our shirt signed before they head out. And I was like, okay, cool. Then I was like, I don't have it. And then I was like, maybe I left it at Tate's table. Because Tate was where I kept my water bottle and like everything there just because I didn't want to keep going upstairs for it. So I just leave it with Tate Fletcher.
Here, Tate Fletcher.
Here's Tate Fletcher.
Can
Here's
you
my
hold
water
this
bottle.
for me?
But I would keep stuff there so that I didn't have to go out because Haley was the one handling his table. And so we were just, whenever we weren't doing anything, we would just be hanging out with Tate. And so that's where I was like, it's probably over there. But then I did still start to panic though because I was like, I actually have no idea. Like maybe I left it on a table with somebody. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, at any point, anyone at the con could see a signed shirt and just take it, So I was like, okay, don't panic yet because you haven't checked everywhere. But then Sierra was like, where's the shirt? And I was like, I really thought you had it. And she's like, I thought I did too.
I really thought I did.
And she's like, I don't think it was at the table with Tate. And I was like, okay, like, let's go look. And then right at that moment, George walked up to me and was like, hey, can you do blah, 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 real fast? It was go check on the volunteer at the door and see if they need anything. And I was like, okay. So I go check on him. He's fine. And then I come back.
He's fine.
I was
Did
like,
not have your shirt.
he did not have my shirt.
Just like, do you need help? No?
Good.
Fine.
I just leave. No. And then I know by then you had talked to Riley.
Yeah, because I was panicking because I thought I lost your shirt because I really thought I had it. I'm like, she gave it to me and I left it somewhere because that's what I do.
How busy the weekend is. We just can't, like, what happened 10 minutes before, you just don't remember.
And so I'm panicking. I'm going to Tate's table, like, looking. Haley's there. And it wasn't there. And so that's the moment where I'm, like, looking up, looking over the entire room, trying to retrace my steps, not freak out. And that's when I just see you. Literally, it was like a movie. I was just scanning the whole room, and I just see you walking with the shirt, and you're just like,
oh yeah, I'm vibing.
it was, and that's when I like beeline for you, and I'm like, is that Bella's shirt? To which you hold it up and say, no.
Well, because I was confident. I was like, because the whole thing started because I wanted a volunteer shirt. I was like, sure.
Wait, that's how you ended up with it, was because I was holding the volunteer shirt, and you were just like, I want it.
do something, and I was like, oh, I want a volunteer shirt.
Uh-huh.
And I threw it over my shoulder because I never saw any signatures on there. And then I was like,
It's mine now.
Volunteer shirt, cool. I'll give it back if she wants it, I guess. Uh-huh. And then you asked, is that Bella's shirt? And I held it up, or I took it off my shoulder, held it up, and the front didn't have any signatures. And then I just looked at the back, and it was just covered in autographs. And I was like, oops.
It was just the initial, because the way you held it up so I could see.
Yeah.
But you looked down, and you were like, there's no signatures on it. This isn't her shirt. And then, so I'm like, okay, that's not Bella's shirt. So I'm still panicking, and then it was just your...
I moved it like an inch away from me and saw the back. And
you
was
saw
like,
it, and you were like, oh, yeah, this is her shirt.
I just remember walking up, and you looked at me like, why did you give me this?
I was like, why would you give me this? This is not mine.
And I remember I was like, you asked for it. Like, I thought you knew it was signed. I totally forgot that I gave it to you. Anyway, it gave me a heart attack, pretty much.
At least you got it back.
Yeah.
In one piece.
It was so funny. But yeah, I mean, you got a volunteer shirt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I have Rory's signature on the whole front of it.
I never got Rory's.
I forgot about that.
I meant to.
He signed the entire front of my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I was
He
holding a
would.
cake when he signed yours.
I was holding...
yeah.
Okay, Rebel Scum Con in a nutshell. I was holding a cake while Rory was signing your shirt.
Your volunteer shirt, which you did not volunteer.
I did not.
Yeah. So anyway. That was a good cake.
It was
I wish I
the
could have
best
some.
cake I've ever had
I was gonna say, I'm
in my
not
entire
kidding.
life.
That was the best cake I've ever had.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know you like that on Saturday.
I don't blame you at all.
We're like, no cake for you. But I'm not kidding. It was Simon Cassinidi's birthday, Thursday. And so on Saturday, I think, it was the day that we were all like celebrating. They surprised him with a cake during his panel, and it was his Axe Wolves helmet. It was so cool. But then, actually, it was Sunday that we all ate it, huh?
It was Sunday.
It was Sunday. Sorry.
So now there's no excuse. You
I
just
was
didn't
holding
want to
it.
give me any cake.
You should have just eaten it.
Oh, I asked if I could have some. And you're
I
like,
thought I
"No."
gave you some. No. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you really ask for some?
Maybe I gave Rory some.
Wow.
Somebody got some.
Rory's the favorite, not you.
I mean, he was being paid to be there. I just showed up because I thought it'd be fun.
Showed up in your costume.
I gave cake to someone.
Not
I would've given
Riley.
you cake.
I was told no.
I don't remember that. Hard pass. That's mean, actually.
It was probably because at that point the cake had been given to Elizabeth,
Oh.
and so I'm like,
Yeah,
"This is
that's-
Elizabeth's
yep.
cake."
sharing that cake. Yep. It was the
I'll just take
best
your word for
cake
it.
I have ever had in my life.
I think I have
That's another thing. It was funny because in the green room, we're just eating cake. Simon's there, Michelle Eng's there. I think Emily Swallow was there. We're just like hanging out eating cake. Like, where else do you do that?
Yeah.
You're just having random conversations. Because we actually got Simon a birthday present. You know how they have like the soda in those? What's it called? It's at every convention. They've got like you can buy
Pecco's
the
Pete's.
what?
Right?
The tea place?
Yeah.
thing? Yeah.
Okay, is that what it's called?
You
Like
you
the-
made me question my entire life right now.
No, I've never heard the name.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, anyway, they have their little like collector's mugs and everything, or not mugs, but cups, tumblers. I think that's the word for it. But anyway, we got him one for his birthday because it had like the Rebel Scum Con logo, and we just filled it with peanut M&Ms because he said those were his favorite. And so that was at that time when we were all eating cake, we were just giving him birthday presents and things. So
Having a little party.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was so happy.
exclusive invite only party. But yeah. So then after that we went out. Okay, so we were packing up the con. We're just hanging out. Everybody by then, I think all the guests like left. A lot of celebrities had left too. And we were planning to go to Dave & Buster's after with Rory, and then of course just all of us and Rory pretty much. And we had like a handful of stuff. I think a lot of it was snacks and stuff that they didn't know what else to do with, and so we went to the car. But I had brought my lightsaber, the Theory Saber. But I didn't have a chance to like pull it out because we ended up being so busy that whole weekend. And so I opened the trunk to put stuff in. I was like, "Oh, do y'all want to see my Theory Saber?" The only problem is I forgot because I had charged it right before we left on Thursday night. I made sure it was fully charged. I didn't have the blade in though. I had taken it out, and then I threw it in real quick, tightened it just enough to where it wouldn't just like roll out, but I didn't tighten it all the way just because I was running around doing things. And so I'm pulling it out, I'm showing y'all, and of course it's staying in because it is tight, just not all the way. Rory is actually really good with the blade,
Yeah,
a
he was
lightsaber.
spinning it and doing all this stuff, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. But then turn it into a party. He was like, "I want a baseball bat, like swing it," and all we had was
snacks.
the fruit snack. I can't. Oh my gosh! And so, I will never like question the integrity of a Theory Saber as long as I live. After that,
After watching what happened next, no.
yeah, and okay. So Rory, he's like swinging it around, having a great time, messing with the lightsaber. And was it you? You're the one with who threw?
No, he threw it.
He threw it himself.
Oh, he threw it himself.
Yeah.
So he's got the fruit snacks, he's got the saber, he's like, I'm gonna baseball bat it. And we're all like, do it, let's see. So he like throws it in the air. And as hard as he can, just swings the life out of it. And the plane goes flying up like, 20 feet into a tree. Just goes smack, 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 smack. Every single branch hits the ground, bounces, hits the concrete, rolls under a car. And we're just sitting there like, and Rory just...
Everybody
He
froze.
was stuck there.
Rory, he didn't laugh because he
I think
didn't
he
at
was
first. He
scared.
was like, I just broke their lightsaber. And he just glued in place and it's like, I don't know what to do. Because as he's still, you just hear, and we're like, it is like hitting every single thing it possibly could. And then we all just start dying. And I had no doubt in my mind. I was like, it's fine. It's a theory saber. It's gonna make it. We're just laughing. I'm so glad I was recording.
For the last bit.
Oh my god.
I was just
So then-
replaying the video.
That's what's
just
funny is because
watching.
once he realized we were all laughing, then he finally was like, oh wait, like it's funny. And he was like, it's out of here.
It's okay. I didn't ruin it. I didn't
Oh my
break
gosh,
it.
and of course we pop it back in and it lights back up, no problem.
That-
TheorySabers.com. Go get it. Discount code DRIFT10, 10% off your purchase. Anyway.
That was smooth.
Yeah, thank you. But anyway, no. That's my favorite video from the whole weekend.
Absolutely.
But what's funny is I almost didn't record because he was like about to do it and I was like, wait, no, I don't have my phone. I almost was like, oh, whatever. Like, I just won't record this moment. So,
It is.
but I just happened to like just barely get it.
There's like a single frame of that video where the blade is still attached. And then you can just see his face go to shock, where everybody is silent, and you can just hear the blade in the background bouncing off the tree branches and hit the ground, and
good.
nobody knows what to do until someone starts to laugh or chuckle, and then
You
we're
were
all
the
just.
first that actually started laughing.
I was just like, uh-oh.
You're like, not my saber.
I don't even remember what I said, but I was like, oh, that can't be good.
I was laughing and like crying at the same time, like crying of laughter and shock.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Because that was the end of the 3-day weekend, and
That
so
was-
everything was funny.
It was right before we went to Dave & Buster's again.
It was the sound of it though. I love watching that video for the sound.
Because you can just hear every single smack that saber endured. And I'm not kidding, like, it has one scuff from when it whacked the tree branch, but that thing, like, works perfectly. And it just, it
That
was
is
so
insane.
funny. So funny. And I'm like, I don't know if any other saber would survive that. And then I was telling another friend, because I'd put it on my Instagram, on my own account, and she was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry about your lightsaber. I was like, no, the saber is fine. It works. And she was like, are you kidding? She's like, I had another company, saber, that she's like, we had one duel and it broke. And I was like, mine got attacked by Rory in the street, and it's fine.
I'm also impressed it didn't hit the car that was parked right under the tree.
I thought it would have, but yeah, the car was fine.
If that tree wasn't there,
It was
that's
going in the street.
it was going into the
Would have
street.
been the classic, you just hear, it's not funny.
Everybody just scatters. Piles in the car, peels out of the parking lot.
Meet it, David.
That thing would have gone 80 feet easily. 80, 100 plus feet.
Hard.
Oh, yeah.
The sound it makes when it hits the tree, it hit hard.
I love how first you hear the leaves, it's like, whoosh. Then you just hear like, don't.
Should I play the
Just
audio
so
of the
loud.
video?
Sure.
Hang on.
Oh my gosh. It was literally.
It's so fast.
I thought that same thing of like, it would have made it. It actually might have flown over the street completely.
Here we go. Here we go.
Did you video that? Please tell me somebody got that on camera.
But it's the initial. It's out of here.
Oh my gosh. You just
All of us like.
Yeah, that sums up the entire weekend.
Mm-hmm. That was so funny.
It's like it's a funny story in general.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that it was Rory.
Capstone on the weekend.
Exactly. Why would it would be Rory?
Yeah.
No
one else would do that.
Yeah. Dang. Oh my gosh. After that weekend, I was so sore from laughing.
Oh yeah.
And my face hurt from smiling. I was like, "Oh my gosh." But I'm so excited for next year.
Oh,
It's gonna be
absolutely.
fun.
Like I said, I won't miss it. It's one of my favorite cons now, if
Yeah.
not my number one. I
Pretty
love it.
much. Yeah, and I'm excited to
number
see
one.
where they like do it next year and like what the dates are and all that. Like every year, it literally like more than doubled from year 1 to year 2. So I'm excited for year 3, like just how much bigger it's gonna grow.
Yeah. It was crazy. I was just talking to my coworker's husband because they go to cons too. And I just mentioned like, oh, Rebel Scum Con.
I'm paying attention.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of it." And I just thought that was crazy that I'm like just your average con goer. Average. Y'all know what I mean. Your average con goer just like knows about Rebel Scum now. Like everyone knows about it, which is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is year 1, like no one, like everyone kind of like heard about it, but was like, oh, little Star Wars con. But then this year, like even looking through the comments on their page, people would be like, oh my gosh, I need to come year 3. Like I've heard about the con and I was debating going, but I'm definitely coming next time. Like everybody knew about it by year 2.
Whatever they did on social media, in my opinion, worked. I mean, I already bought tickets well in advance, but months out, like 6-7 months out, I was seeing ads for Rebel Scum Con after the first one. And it was like, oh, cool, this new guest just announced that they'll be there, or this panel, or just another video or a recap from the first year. And it was everywhere. All of my socials, all of the ads. I mean,
Literally.
my pages are already Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
But like it was multiple ads in a row, and I was like, they're getting good traction with these. It's like they did social media right for that con.
They definitely did. And that, like, I'm just waiting. In a couple months, I already know that's, Rebel Scum Con is going to start coming again. But those were literally all my ads. I only get three ads. SpaceCon San Antonio, Theory Sabers, and Rebel Scum Con.
It's
That's
funny.
all my algorithm things I'm interested in. I'm like, well,
Space Con's in like 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly. And then it'll go away after it, and then it'll just be Rebel Scum Con. But yeah, I'm excited for SpaceCon.
Oh, I am too.
That's gonna be fun. But yeah, it's just the difference because we were just at Fan Festival, and it's fun because it's all of us just hanging out, having a good time. But when you're at Rebel Scum, it's different.
Yeah.
It's fun, and everyone genuinely cares about that con and like putting the work into it, and like just super excited about it. That's what I love. Is the guys who run the con, like seeing them over the weekend, they're dead tired. But they were like, I'm so like, this is great. I'm, so happy with how this turned out. And they're already talking like next year we're going to do this. And oh, we should do this next year. And like, they're just so passionate about it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's owned by, I guess, a larger company or corporation that's just like all they care about is making money. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, every con or every event wants to make money. But these guys are Star Wars fans too, as we've talked about. So they care about the health of the event and want to see and want to actually hear, like, okay, how do we improve, or
Exactly.
how do we make this even more enjoyable for us, let alone everyone else next year?
Mm-hmm. And they even they'll ask us, like, okay, how was this year? What can we do better? Kind of a thing. And after this one too, like they were very genuine about it, and so we gave things like this would make it so much easier, I think, on the guest part, our part, like everything. And, you know, and we told him, like, we'll be back next year, you know, like, we'll see you there. So it's just really cool. Like, everybody's just so close-knit there.
Oh, yeah.
So I totally love it. Yeah, I mean, what more can you say about it? Pretty much, it's great. Come, you know, come if you haven't, try it out at least 1 year.
But yeah, one of the other things that I absolutely loved, I know we hinted at it earlier in the recording, but all of the exhibit hall, like all the tables and booths and whatnot, everything was Star Wars. It was like, didn't have to go past a bunch of different tables of things that weren't necessarily my interest. So I got to spend a lot of time at all of the booths in like Artist Alley, for example, seeing all of the different Star Wars artwork in a billion different formats. And I actually have a piece that I bought then, or commissioned then. It'll be here tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got a custom piece commissioned from one of the artists there, and he texted me before we started recording.
Which one was it? Like, where was his...
It was up against the back near where like our changing room was, where I kept coming in and out of the side entrances. Mm-hmm. But I'll send y'all a photo of that
I think
later.
I know which artist you're talking about.
But it was really cool to just see Star Wars everything. Mm-hmm. Not a bunch of other stuff mixed in where you had to kind of dig for it.
Yeah.
So if you're a Star Wars fan, like what was it? They had a giant like wooden hand carved Death Star that was like a, I don't want to say table ornament, but it was, it's like a house decoration thing, like something I would put on my island. And I was like, this is cool. Again, all of the artwork, a bunch of different props or old Lego sets, even things that wouldn't necessarily see, or there'd maybe be one of at an entire convention. It's like, oh, cool, there's a few different options here. It was awesome to see.
Mm-hmm. That was really cool, because that's one thing that I am very bummed about with volunteering, is you don't have time to just like shop around and like, oh, let's see what you have, which they do. They are very, like, they value the volunteers being there, and are like, hey, you're not paid to be here, you're just here. Like, you get autographs, you get, you know, make sure you get fed, and they try to give you time to walk around. But with the job we're doing, it doesn't always happen. Airplane. But we usually, again, for anyone new, we live by an airport. This happens a lot. If you're a regular, you already know the drill. But anyway, we just keep talking through it, unless it's a military jet, because those are so freaking loud. But anyway, you don't get a lot of time to like walk around and see everybody, or like talk to the vendors, which is something I love doing, is like walking up and being like, how long have you been doing this? And like, do you do this at a bunch of cons? Is this your first con? You know, and just hearing their stories, they're so cool, especially the artists.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh no.
I was going to say, I bought a poster from one of the artists there who did official art for Star Wars Celebration stuff. Yeah. And he had some leftover limited runs, and I got some really cool posters that look like they would be like a real life pod racing poster that would be hung up on or glued to a wall or something outside of some tavern or bar or something like that. Mm-hmm. It was perfectly fit in universe that he just made and designed for Celebration one year.
Yeah.
And then,
oh, wait. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Because he was, like, posting about it beforehand. Like, oh, I'm going to, I'm bringing these to the con.
Just ordinarily...
Yeah.
Ordinarily at other cons, I don't spend a ton of time in Artist Alley just because there's not a whole lot of Star Wars focused stuff. There's a bunch of wide variety of very talented artists that go to those things. But I'm very picky with what I buy artwork-wise.
Yeah.
Like, it has to fit a certain aesthetic or a theme that I have, and going with the Star Wars stuff, it's a lot easier. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, it was awesome to go spend, 2.5, 3 days on the exhibit hall floor, either in costume, interacting with people, or literally just shopping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's really cool, and they're all the ones that I did get a chance to talk to are very nice. And one thing I did hear from all of the vendors, or I guess on behalf of all the vendors, was they all love it. They love that con. They're like, as soon as, like, during the weekend, as early as Friday, like Friday evening, they're all like, I want to come back next year. Like, please give me first pick, you know, like,
Yeah.
and they do try to do that. Like, they'll reserve the spots. Like, if you were a vendor the previous year, you have first pick of coming back again. And every single one of them always says, like, yes, I want to come back next year. Like, please let me come back. And it's funny because the showrunners are like, they're dead tired, but they're like, this is amazing. Like, this is so great. We're so happy. And it's just like, so I know that's, you know, something that they all enjoy too.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, if that's your passion, like Star Wars and like Star Wars Legos, Star Wars art, or like things like that, you're at a Star Wars con. So
Yeah. There were old school, like, old figurines and, like, cases.
Yeah.
At that point, there were a bunch of Black Series, like, figures or helmets or things. There were, you know, some Star Wars Nerf guns. There was a Lego collector table where people built mocks and, like, built their own, like, a scene from a movie or show in Lego. There were vendors that had Lego Star Wars stuff. There's all of the art. The wooden Death Star I mentioned earlier. It was like there's just about any and everything you could imagine Star Wars themed.
yeah, I remember there was the one guy who had a booth. I didn't get a chance to like look at it, but he was filled with all kinds of like collector's items. And I saw a lot of the celebrity guests there would go to his booth and just like look around because they're like, bro,
It was
you
a
got
lot of
so
like
much.
original movie posters and
Yeah.
stuff like that that had either been signed or if it was just an original movie poster or I guess a draft of the script or something like that. I don't know. I knew that was out of my price range, so I really
Like, I'll
didn't
look
need
at
to
it from
tempt
afar.
myself. Yeah, I was like, I don't need to go super close and look at things that I'm not gonna.
Gonna buy.
I don't
Or
need to be. I
shouldn't
don't.
buy.
Shouldn't buy.
Shouldn't
I
buy.
should not be tempted by that.
Yeah. Which next year, that's the thing is I didn't buy anything this year because it was too busy and I didn't even think about like, oh, I should like buy a Star Wars art or something. But I should like every year. I think I want to do that is buy something every year to have as like a memory of, oh, year 1, year 2, year 3. Which I'm going to have to start at year 3 because I didn't buy anything year 1 either.
Did you even go to year 1 and 2 then?
I have a shirt to prove it.
Yeah, but
You
you didn't buy
autographed.
anything.
Yeah. What?
You mean my shirt?
Yeah. No, that's literally, like, that is one of my favorite, like, souvenir to have is, like, a signed shirt with all the names. It's literally, I always say this, it's like when you get back from camp and, like, everybody signed your shirt. That's what it looks like because they'll write, like, little messages on it or, like, little funny faces or, like, they'll point to someone else's name and be like, they're the worst. So just, like, things like that all over the shirt. And I'm like, this is the best souvenir that you could get. So definitely my favorite. It's about everything we have to say on it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Year 3, I am so excited for. They haven't announced the date yet for when it is, but definitely, I can not say like fast enough. Buy tickets for it. You will not regret it. It is so fun. If they have after parties, come to the after parties. Volunteer. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine? That's just what we do.
Everyone is a volunteer next year.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it truly is. It's very unique, and I will say it's the only con I would ever consider volunteering for because I have no interest in doing that at any other con because it's not the same, and I know you get a little more like harder worked into the ground kind of thing. So yeah, Rebel Scum Con it's very unique in that area. But yeah, excited for year 3. Before we go, actually, for you, where can people find you on Instagram? Let's talk about you a little bit.
Yeah, Instagram is Lone Star Mando. It's Instagram, TikTok. That's, I guess, the only 2 platforms I use. But
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok,
TikTok.
this podcast.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah. And thank
Rebel Scum
you
Con.
for coming on
Oh,
again.
absolutely. No,
This
thank
was
you
fun.
for inviting me. Thank you for letting me.
We'll have to have you on again when we review Mando.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm excited for the movie.
Yeah, that oh my gosh, I'm really excited for that. But yeah, no, we'll definitely have you on more often. So it was fun, pleasure having you. But anyway, to everybody watching or listening, thank you so much for joining us this week. I promise Clone Wars reviews, we're starting back up on them. If it's not next week, it's gonna be the week after. Because we have been, y'all are poster. We have been, like, how long has it been since we've done Clone Wars?
We don't talk about it.
It's getting to the point the people who were asking me when we were doing them stopped asking me.
Too long?
And that's how I know it's been too long. So, yes, please, do not worry. We're coming back. We're excited about it. I think Clone Cadets is our next one. Mm-hmm. So, that's a super fun one. You could join us if you want. But anyway, so yeah, thank you. We're going to have listener notes out again as well consistently. Probably, I'm hoping consistent Clone Wars reviews then the rest of the year. Unless we have like, we might do like holiday specials or like interviews, things like that. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. You can find us on Instagram at starwars.drift. Again, I mean, theorysabers.com. If you want a lightsaber, use our code DRIFT10, 10% off. Space content. Antonio actually will be there. If you're there, come say hi. I'm going to try to have stickers made by then. New ones because we updated the logo and everything. But anyway, yeah, until next time, I've spoken.
Yep.
And we're out of here.